If you wanted to know the 5 things that matter most in today's environment as you're working to grow your business so that today you can hit the same numbers you hit in 2020 and 2021, you're listening to the right episode of the Loan Officer Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Kiles. We're powered by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And I've got a treat for you today. Super excited about our guest, which I'll introduce in just one second. Let me do this first. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for sharing the podcast and writing reviews. So I want to encourage you, hit the subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, you'll get this podcast episode every week. It'll come straight to you. Second thing is share this with someone you know needs to have the same success, that needs to hear great information so they can have a great business. I'd love for you to share it with 2 loan officers. And the last one is this, a big shout out to all of the phenomenal reviews that we're getting. Man, Joshua just gave us one this week, and I just wanted to say thank you so much, Joshua. His review said, "So money!" exclamation point. So love this podcast and wish I found it sooner. So much value and wisdom that is game changing. For example, episode 146, a deep dive into loan consultation, asking buyers to commit to me as a lender, has been huge and keeping me from losing deals. Thank you so much and keep up the great work. So Joshua, thank you for the review. Thank you all for giving the reviews. It helps us in our ranking, helps get the word out. So just very grateful and appreciative. Hope you enjoyed last week's episode with Carl. That was so much fun, where he turned the tables. It started asking me questions. I'm the host. I'm supposed to ask questions. So just appreciate you being on the journey. And today, my guest, talking about the 5 things that matter most, is a dear friend, one of our new Freedom Club coaches, Rayce Robinson. Rayce, what's up, brother?
What's happening to you, brother? Good talking to you, Steve.
Man, I'm excited to have you. It's so much fun. We get to see each other at the Freedom Club events. We see each other on the coach's call every other week. And man, you're doing great things. And let me just tee you up for our audience. I love the business you're in. You're actually a broker. I know we have a lot of retail loan officers. You're a broker with Mid-Florida Mortgage Professional. What is it?
Mid-Florida Mortgage Professionals here in Central Florida. I
love it. And so you've been in the business for 20 years. Last year, you did 250 units, closed between 80 and $90 million. What a great year. Yeah. You got a lean team. There's 7 of you on your team. So not only are you a producer, but you're also one of our new coaches. So as people join our coaching program, they have an opportunity to have a coach like you, somebody who is not only great at what they do, but really good at helping others along the way and uncover huge success. So I'm excited. You've been a part of the Mortgage Marketing Animals for 7 years. And so, man, you know the culture. It's helped you in your business. And brother, you got a great business. So we talked about, hey, here's what I want to know. I get to hang out with you for 20 minutes, 20 years in the business. You're doing great business. You're running lean. You're running profitable. And you're a mortgage broker. I mean, you're killing it. So here's what I asked you, bro. I want to know, what are the 5 things that matter most? Like what are the things that you're looking at today, you're coaching to, you're leading your team, you're helping others see that matter most in 2022 to make sure we have a great year?
Good question. And I want to thank you too, Steve, with the Loan Officer Leadership. I've listened to that. One easy answer to that is birds of a feather flock together. So listening to other people really, really helps. So I guess the first response would be, every market has seasons. I feel like the last few years was about building a team, building capacity, as much capacity as you could get, which was a challenge to get. Really, you could do that business. I think this year it's really back to basics. Skills matter again. And for people who've been in for a while, it's that's awesome. You can still have a great year. I think Carl and you both said the next 2 years are going to be record numbers. So I would say DSP. I know everybody says it on every call, but making calls, don't get distracted. I was hearing Kevin Gillespie talk about the shiny whistle, and I'm guilty of that. When I first joined the marketing animals, I like Facebook marketing, Google, this, that, whatever. The only thing that's consistently made me a ton of money over the years is the DSP, making phone calls, talking to agents. So that's number one.
Hey, hold on. Let me just say this. Isn't that funny? Carl and I were talking earlier today, this morning, and he said, "Hey, Steve, if you could go back and tell yourself 10, it was a great question." He said, "Hey, if you could tell yourself, 10 years ago, the old Steve, what would you do different?" I said, "Stay focused and don't get distracted." Isn't it funny? Because we thought that all these other things would move the needle. The only thing that matters is the DSP, bro. The daily success plan. What are my outbound activities from 9 to 11, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? It's so simple.
100%. I came from a Mike Ferry organization years ago. I had a coach and he used to say, if it's in your calendar, it doesn't exist. And if you're not making phone calls, you're not a professional salesperson. I only work with professional people. So
true.
That's just the way it is.
So true, man. I love it. I love it. Hey, you said something, and we're going to go to point number 2. So you're talking about getting back to the basics, the fundamentals. And if you're listening today and you want to say what number 1 is fundamentals, the daily success plan. If you want to know more about the daily success plan, go to freedomplanningcall.com and schedule a 45-minute call with our team, and we'll walk you through the daily success plan. Hey, but you said something. Let me just circle back because I loved it. I wrote the phrase down. Every market has a season. What a great statement, man.
And you can see it shift. My friend has a thing where he says, in 5 minutes, there'll be a new normal. And so the new normal is always changing. And right now it's, definitely back to the basics.
I love that phrase, man. I'm going to steal it from you, Rayce. Every market has seasons. Great phrase. Okay. Number 2, what are we doing?
So maybe this is with the first one, but we're always looking for more. Right now, it's about keeping your current referral partners. I talked to a guy the other day. He's like, I had like 8, lenders call me. And so, it is important to do more and have a part of that as your DSP, but don't forget what got you there, what got you to the dance. And these big agents, you want to spend time with them. You want to be hanging out with them. You don't want to lose sight of that, because right now, just like the rate compression, people are trying to do anything to build relationships, and you've built those over the years. Don't slack on that. That would be number 2.
That's awesome. Well, and keeping your current referral partners. So making sure that we're being proactive, dude, that's so big. I think it's easy to get distracted and think, hey, I'm going to go chase all these other people. You know what we did, Rayce? I had my team go back and look at how many agents have referred us business in the last 36 months. Rayce, do you know how many it was? It was nuts. We had 575 individual agents refer us in 3 years.
Wow.
And I just went back and said, guys, why are we fishing anywhere else? Like, we don't have 575 referring us right now. And so what we did was we went back to our lead tracker and just started going back and saying, okay, now out of the 575, how many of those are qualified? And you start seeing you don't have to go far. You just have to remember to love on the people that have sent us the business, and don't get distracted with going after other people until the ones that are our core feel loved on. And then we keep growing from there. That's great, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And even setting appointments, I was looking at some big ones and I was like, man, I haven't seen this guy in 6 months. Like, because it's not you take it for granted, but everybody was busy. So now I'm like, all right, let's go to lunch. Let's hang out. Let's bring your team, or whatever the situation is. So again, that's back to the basics, right? 101, keep your existing referral partners happy.
Hey, and that's why we have to stay focused on that Focus 40 form. Every first week of the month, Sabrina on my team literally was talking to me this morning, and she mentioned 3 or 4 agents that fell off our Focus 40. The Focus 40 form is if an agent refers and or closes a loan every 90 days, they stay on your Focus 40. And what she realized was, she said, man, there's at least 3 agents that fell off, and we've got a great relationship with them. So is it their business, or did they start referring to a different lender? And that's why we've got to be measuring the activity so that we don't lose sight of the ones that are bringing us business. Hey, and also you can get that form at freedomplanningcall.com. We'd be happy to give you a copy of it. So
yeah, and even if you get, I always say it's like magic. I'll have an agent that hasn't sent me a deal in a while. All of a sudden I call him 4 or 5 times in a row, leave him voicemail, send him a text. All of a sudden I magically get a referral from them. I'm like, wait, you know who I am. It took me that, but yeah, you've got to keep, greasing the wheels and keep those calls going.
I love it. I love it. Tell me number 3, what do we got?
So it's kind of in the same lines as that. it's like we always want the next client, but you really got to keep the client that you have. So we call them ceremonies. You have to have an extremely strong pre-approval ceremony, a contract ceremony, and a closing ceremony. And that's kind of what I teach my team. And right now we are doing a lot of, when someone goes to contract, we are doing Zoom meetings with almost all of them because they're getting trigger leaded, they're getting all these different things. And I want a chance to play poker with them at the table and see where they're at, watch their expression. We go over, a lot of people don't realize how far rates have changed. So I'll go through, look, here's where rates are at. Here's where the market's at. We kind of created this presentation where by the end of it, we're locking them in right then and there. And now they don't feel like, hey, I got this, 5.5% rate. That seems high. I've showed them, here's where the market's at. Here's where we're different. We're talking to them, or my loan partners are talking to them. So I think focusing on the deals that you have and keeping those when they're, it's like having the fish already in the net, get those in the boat, get paid on those so that you can, keep going.
Hey, tell me more about the ceremonies. I love that idea. So where do you do tell me which, at what point do you do ceremonies and what's involved in them?
So the pre-approval ceremony is, so obviously where we get the lead. I stole something from you because I stole some from everyone in the marketing animals because it's a pretty strong group. But we set that pre-approval ceremony right up front now where we were kind of waiting. So we've already got that in. And then the pre-approval ceremony is to get their agreement that they're going to work with us as a lender. We also want 3 things from them. We tell them, look, we don't think you want a low cost mortgage or a low rate. We think you want a low rate with low cost. You want exceptional service. You want these things, but I'm going to ask 3 things from you in return. And we get an agreement from them. 1, we want you to refer us to all your friends and family. 2, we want you to let the realtor know this realtor has a really high standard, that we did a great job for you. And 3, you can Google me, see what other people say about me. I want you to say some nice things about me online. And before closing, I'm going to ask you to do that. And at this point, is there any reason you wouldn't work with me as your lender? Because I'm ready to put the full force of my office to get your offer accepted, do all the things we just talked about and get that commitment. So that's the pre-approval ceremony.
Hey, hold on. Let me just say something. First off, guys, that's money. Man, how many of us don't have that in our process, me included? Like we do, we go through and I like the ceremony sounds so formal, like it's like ceremony. So I call it a loan consultation, but I love the pre-approval ceremony. What I love even more, Rayce, is that you're asking 3 things in return.
It's a deal.
Because,
I'm making a deal with them.
Hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. Here's what you get from me. And I'm asking for 3 things in return from you. And I love that you would refer us to your friends and family. And here's how I'm literally going to take that back to my team. What I would go a little deeper in ours is I would say, hey, refer us to your friends and family. And every Tuesday, Richard or whoever my loan partner, Emma or Deanna, whichever loan partner is working with them, is going to be asking for, hey, do you have any friend, family, coworker looking to buy, sell, and refinance? By noon on Tuesday, when they give you your update, that's when they're going to ask, and that would be a great time for you to give us a referral. And then I love let the realtor know I'm taking great care of you. Can you call the agent today or text and let them know that we're taking great care of you? And then the last one was, dude, I love the Google review. I love it. What a great ask.
And then you
we're
can
not
ask
asking
them right
for
before
those.
Closing.
Yeah, we're not asking for them, man. God, I love it, dude. So good. Hey, okay, so you're doing pre-approval ceremony. Tell me the other ceremonies.
Contract ceremony and closing ceremony.
Okay, so look, just briefly go through contract and then go through closing.
The contract ceremony came about, and we tweak it depending on the market. That we don't want to get them. We spend all this work. They go to contract. You send out an application. You find out they've done something else. So we have a set time where we as soon as we get a contract, we send them an email and a text. We want to give them their next step, so they're not thinking like, what do I do next? Their next step is to talk to us. We get on the phone or a Zoom meeting often, and that's where we're going to basically be super assumptive, make sure they understand the numbers. We're going to talk about the market, locking in the rate, set their expectations, all the things that we have a little checklist that we go through.
Yeah.
And each thing has an email template that everybody has to send out and tweak. So I know they're getting the same information after each ceremony.
Dude,
so
I love
that
it.
To me is the most important one, because you spend all this time getting them to go to contract. Now you want to make sure you keep them in the boat. So that's that part. And then the closing ceremony is where the money's at. You usually do that, right when the CD comes out, loan partner will call, and we basically thank them for the business, go over the numbers.
Yep.
And then we say, hey, we asked you for a few things up front that we said we were going to ask you for. So one, do you have any friends and family, blah, blah, blah. Two, hey, you're going to be going to closing tomorrow. Can you make sure you know Karen, that was like really incredible experience. We asked them for any feedback. And then we say, or the loan partner says, hey, we're doing a little office competition right now. It's getting ready to end. You said you'd give us a review. Any chance you could do that today? Just because if you don't get a sense of urgency from them, it would really help me out. I know Rayce looks at these to kind of measure my performance. So
dude, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, they need a reason to do it now. They'll put it off. So to me, that's where you get that review. You get them to say good things about us to the realtor, and go over, make sure they're clear on what's going to happen at closing.
I love it, man. Hey, so number 1 is fundamentals. Number 2 is keep the agents you have. Number 3 is keep the clients you have. What's number 4?
Well, we did the Zoom meetings with clients. And then to me, I think this is true even if you're a loan officer, run a branch, own a mortgage company. I have this saying right now, to be on the offense with your business and the defense with your money. As the weather changes, there's always opportunity, and the people that can take advantage of that opportunity are in a position, they're not making bad decisions because financially they're not in good shape. My son, who's a lot younger, never been through any type of market change before, he's like, Dad, 5 of my friends that got in the mortgage business are already out. And like Kevin said, there's a lot of people that still need to get out. And one of the things I taught him is, look, if you have a strong foundation, then you're going to make all the money on the other side of that. You're going to make money during it, and you're not going to be completely stressed out because you've built a good foundation and you've got, you went on the defense with your money, and you need to stay that way, but on the offense with your business. So
that's such a great, man. That's so good, brother. Offense with your business and defense with your money. Hey, and one of the things that I'll tell you, that there's nothing like, you and I both know we've been 100% commission for 20 plus years. And there is nothing like the pressure of your finances. And so my big encouragement, and Carl taught me this and taught all of us this, but in order to create wealth, you got to be saving 25% of your money. Yeah. You got to save 25% every month, not some months, not when it feels good and doesn't feel good, because what'll happen is, when you go through rainy seasons, when you go through storms, and listen, life is full of storms. You're either going into a storm, you're either in the middle of a storm, or you're coming out. There's not much of a difference. It's very few clear, sunny days, in the market, and even what I love what you said, like the different seasons. Every market has a season. And this is one of those seasons where money matters. And I love the idea of playing defense. Get rid of, going lean. Like for us, I'm looking at every expense we've had, and what was okay a year ago is not okay today. What was okay a month ago is not okay. And every month, like I literally just did all my P&L review that yesterday, brother, I'm in there sitting there saying, why do we have this? Can we reduce this? Is this needed? Yeah. Why? Because what we know is we got to be on the defense with our P&Ls. We got to be in the defense in our personal, because there is nothing like financial pressure, man. You don't play well whenever I got a bill due. And don't go buy the boats. Don't go buy the cars. We pay cash for that stuff. Don't buy the toys that are going to enslave us to not playing at peak performance, because we're sitting there saying, Rayce, you and I know this, there's a difference between desperation and moving. Like you can hear it when you're desperate. I got to close a loan. You know what I mean?
100%.
I love that. That's such great wisdom, man. Such great wisdom.
And if you get into emergency mode, you're done, right? You can't make good decisions. And the thing is, there's so much opportunity when the weather changes. So you just got to be in a position to take advantage of it and do everything you can where you're not jumping into emergency mode, because then you got to make different decisions. Yeah.
Hey, and listen, this is going to pass. You and I've seen too many of these. This is not the sky's falling. It's falling for the people that aren't prepared. And so just be prepared. So, all right, brother, what's number 5?
Again, for me, it might be different, maybe with loan officers, to really keep a handle on your team's emotions. So I do a lot of videos and on the market updates and different things. And so I'm very candid with my team, because I think they know when you're being genuine. And I say, look, the pendulum is swinging the other direction. It is. We're getting more inventory. You're seeing these things happen. I don't have a crystal ball. Could there be some kind of major market crash? In Central Florida, we had 25,000 homes come on the market. In 2008, we had 2,800 now. I don't see how that happens, but look, anyone that tells you 100% something can happen, whatever. But what we need to do as a team is to know where our opportunity is during all of this, because I plan on keeping you forever. So keeping their emotions in check, because you got to remember, it's not just your emotions. They're hearing stuff. They're worried about stuff. They're seeing the volume drop. And I say, I know one of the conversations I have with them is like, I built an all-star NBA team. If we have a season that's a little off, I'm not going to disband the team. You guys are secure. You guys are my go-to core. And just making them know, like, I even told them, look, this is not bragging. I've paid my house off. I've paid my rentals off. I haven't, like, this is not me brag. Like, you are working for the right person to be able to make good money, weather this storm, and be at a great place to work. And so just having that conversation with them, I think really puts their brain in the right place, because you're only as good as your team.
I love it, brother. Man, you have laid out some great strategies, great wisdom. Give us some closing thoughts.
Closing thought would be, don't overthink it. Stay, like we talked about, it is a season. It's back to the basics. The realtors that don't know how to sell are going to get out of the business. The lenders that only did refinances or don't know how, are scared to make calls or do those things, they're going to get out of business. Don't be one of those. There's some wisdom. Don't be like the normal loan officer. Be like an exceptional loan officer, which really isn't that hard. It's just doing the DSP, doing the basics day after day after day.
Man, I love it. Well, and that's what we keep saying, is that it is just fundamentals. And Rayce, what a great insight. I know we are a better organization because of you joining the coaching team. Man, I am so excited for your leadership. I'm excited for your friendship and just to see what continues to grow, man. You run a lean, super solid team. You've got a great mortgage brokerage. I mean, you're doing all the right things, and I'm excited that people can now lean into your coaching, and I love it, man. Every time I talk to you, I just feel like I'm talking to somebody who has seasoned wisdom, and you're very thoughtful in your execution of what you're doing, and your leadership is so solid. I love that. Let me go back over these. Back to the basics. What a great place. Focusing on the DSP. Second thing is we got to keep the agents that we currently have. I don't know. I've not heard of people talking really about that a lot, but that is such great advice. Number two is we got to keep the clients that we have, keep them. And then we got to double down and keep getting more. Offense on your business and defense on your money. Dude, I love that. I love it. And then lead your team well. And so, Rayce, man, from a guy who is absolutely crushing it when a market has turned, I just want to say thank you for investing your last 30 minutes with us and just sharing ideas. And if you're listening today and you say, man, I need more help, I would love to have a coach like Rayce. Go to freedomplanningcall.com. This is what we do every single day. I'm thinking of 3 loan officers right now that are excelling, literally having their best months ever because they're connected to a community that's helping them stay focused on what the right activity is. Go to freedomplanningcall.com. We can help you build a strategy. And then if you want help implementing it, we've got that as well. freedomplanningcall.com. Thank you again for all the reviews. Thank you for being a part of our community. I am honored. I know Carl and Tammy, Diane, myself, every day we wake up and say, how can we make this industry better? And it's because of guys like Rayce that have linked arms with us to say, we're going to continue making a difference. So Rayce, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. All of our listeners, thank you. Give us a review, share this, subscribe. And remember this, anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Just get started. See ya.